It's a poppin' chat tonight. It's almost as if something significant might happen tomorrow. Unless you believe certain Twitter accounts that want you to believe it's too soon for anything to happen. But you can believe what you want to believe. Nothing wrong with that. It's Fandom Empire Live. Thanks for joining us this evening. I'll be honest, I have no idea who's on the show tonight. I don't even know if I remember what day it is. If it wasn't for doing this normally Tuesdays, I would not know what day it is. It's that kind of day. What's going on, Tommy B? Knock on wood. I know it's not perfect, but it's better than it has been over on your end right now.
Don't jinx it. I am well. Thank you for asking. Keeping busy. Trying to stay alive out there, you know. The struggle. How about you?
The struggle, man. The struggle. All things considered, though. Life could be worse. And CinemaCon's going on. Bunch of Michael Keaton Batman information's out there as of today. That's what the footage focused on for them. We have The Batman officially getting a sequel. No date attached to it, but you can bet your ass it won't be anytime sooner than late 2024, and that's probably way too soon, to be honest. 2025 is probably far more likely with the way Matt Reeves' process works. Also joining us, he recorded Star Wars Wastelands with me earlier, which was a pre-produced video that we set as a live premiere. Thank you for that. Apparently we got a super chat too, so I don't know who sent the super chat. I'm now going to have to go, I got the notification for it. I'm now going to have to go watch it, find the super chat, and answer it on another stream. So thank you for doing that. If you want to support the channel, by the way, you can do so by just clicking that like button. Click it right now. It's thumbs up. You should already have clicked it, and it helps other people find the stream. Or you can say, hey, fat Canadian, shut the fuck up and get to Halloween. And we'll do that. We're going to get to that. But another way you can support us is over on Patreon. Patreon.com/Fandom Empire. And we now have the channel members activated on our channel. So you can become a channel member, which gets you exclusive chat access to this show right here. And we have a second episode of that show coming up. I believe it's next week. I don't know. I need to get with Jason from Making Star Wars and figure out a day. But we're going to touch on all sorts of things. Star Wars, Indiana Jones, and maybe some other things. We'll see how far and how deep he wants to go with it. But yeah, Johnny, man, welcome back. 2 in 1 day. I can't remember the last time we had that. And without context, that sounds bloody fucking terrible. So,
answer to that is 2 weeks ago when we did Wastelands immediately before doing this show. So, that counts as 2 in 1 day.
Anthony Stanfield says he misses you guys. So when he says that, just so we're clear, he's talking about the three of us. He's not talking about Kieran, who gives a fuck what he's doing right now. And he's not talking about Mike Bish, who's late getting out of work. He's talking specifically about Johnny and I because Tommy can go fuck himself. It's true. It's true. What Tommy's secretly saying right now.
Now, what makes you think Tommy would ever say something like that?
Oh, I can imagine. I can imagine. So, this is the way the show is going to work. Let's run over it right now. It's primarily just Halloween ends tonight, guys, for the most part. We're going to dive into it. We're going to dive into CinemaCon. We're going to dive into what you can and cannot expect. Johnny, I like what you did there. That's clever. That's cool. It took me a second to notice.
Well, I figured it was either do it that way or, inevitably it's going to end up over here and it's going to look like, Photoshop heaven for somebody out there to just go nuts with it. And, that's not a risk I'm willing to take.
So get your Halloween questions in now. Get whatever questions you want in the chat. We'll get to as many of them as we can within reason. You can always send in a super chat. That'll get read for sure. But we know not everybody wants to, one, spend money on us, and two, can afford it. So we'll definitely get to some normal chat questions as well. And then we're going to close the show with some wrestling talk. That's right. We're going to talk wrestling. But until that point, Halloween's our focus. And so I want to begin with this. I'm not going to name anybody. I don't want to do that. I don't want to prickle any feathers out there, which apparently is easily done. But I guess some account on, I don't know, like literally Mike Bish and I just had this conversation that the Fandom Empire Twitter account is just not active enough, like last week or something. And so I don't pay as much attention as I should. Just lack of free time, which is the answer to, I think it was our buddy Jay Ryan in the chat was asking where that leaked scene video is. I'll tell you what, Jay, just for you, we'll talk about the leaked scene video tonight on the show. No Patreon, no separate video. We'll do it after CinemaCon. So strap yourselves in. But obviously that involves getting into spoilers. Where was I before the Jay Ryan thought, fellas? Help me out here. Nobody knows. They're not paying attention. Mother Canuckers. Anyways, no, get your questions in, and we'll address them as we go here. There are accounts stating that apparently it's official that Halloween Ends will not have any footage at CinemaCon, and the reason for it is because it's too early. Halloween, both prior Halloween movies from this trilogy had footage debut at CinemaCon. So the whole "it's too early" thing, I have no idea. I honestly have no idea. Maybe they usually have good information and just this stuff didn't pan out, or maybe it did. Who knows? Maybe tomorrow passes and there is no new Halloween Ends information. So that's the nitty-gritty of it all, is what can we expect tomorrow? Well, if you're a member of our Patreon, we did a Lambkin Lane episode about a month ago. And I believe the month before that, too, where we reported on it, that you could expect Halloween Ends footage to debut at CinemaCon. We've said it multiple times. It's not like, oh, wow, they got it right. And it's nothing like that. It's common sense. It is an exhibition for theater owners and runners. Press get to be there as well. If you go on Twitter right now and type in CinemaCon, they're literally doing CinemaCon stuff as we speak out in, I think it's Las Vegas. Could be California. I know usually it's Las Vegas. At least it was a couple of years ago. The last information that we had on it, which is a little dated now, we're going back almost a month, is that Halloween Ends footage would 100% debut at CinemaCon. That is the last thing we heard. So I have no reason to go against that. So I believe that Halloween Ends footage is debuting tomorrow night at CinemaCon. Now, I see everybody, no, I shouldn't say everybody, I see a bunch of people jumping to the conclusion, well, when will we get it? Will we get it the next day or by the weekend or next week? And the truth is, no. You'll get it in June, likely attached to, I think it's the Black Phone. With
That's the one that got pushed back, yeah.
Yeah, so that's your likely target. It probably will be attached to Nope as well. So be on the lookout for that. Again, that's not for sure. This is some speculation going on. But I can tell you right now that the last report we had is that they would absolutely debut Halloween Ends footage at CinemaCon. I spoke with someone today who is in the know-how for these things, and we've definitely used their information before in the past, but they prefer to remain anonymous. And they said pretty definitively it's a trailer. You know, it is a trailer. And to be honest, it lines up with what they've done at CinemaCon the previous 2 times. We have gotten trailers at CinemaCon, and then they don't go public for another month and a half, 2 months after. And even though all the details of that trailer spread online, you need to remember that 90% of the people that go to see Halloween, 90% of the driving force are not diehard Halloween fans on the Fandom Empire YouTube channel right now watching us talk about Halloween. It's, oh, hey, it's a horror movie in October. Let's go see this flick. That's what makes the flicks successful. So, yeah, we believe that you can expect Halloween footage tomorrow and would not be surprised at all if it is a trailer. Don't expect us to have any of this footage until June is my guess. I want to say the Black Phone's towards the end of June.
23rd, I think.
Something like that. Yeah, something like that. 20-something. So that's my guess on when we would get it. And yeah, they would absolutely hold off that long, despite showing it at CinemaCon. They've done it before. But you will get a full rundown and description from basically every Tom, Dick, and Harry who's allowed to be at this thing. Because remember, as much as people, put out there that this is for theater owners, it's all about, a theater exhibition. The press is there. There's a reason the press is there. They want to get out good word of mouth. What's going on, guys?
I just got rickrolled by the Blue Jays.
Oh, how so?
James Cateau decided to use "Never Gonna Give You Up" to walk to bat.
Oh.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, you have it here. Our boy Toronto Freddy. Halloween Ends trailer to debut October 13th. Oh man.
Is that another Friday? Because I know we have one in May.
Let me go. What do we got here? Private baseball is fake. Someone will definitely record it. I'll say this. Nothing from Kills, I don't think, got onto the internet. But stuff from 18 did, and it was horrendous quality. So stuff does leak from CinemaCon. My guess, I just want to set expectations realistic, is if you're dying for Halloween Ends information, you're going to get a trailer description tomorrow night, and some of them will be very vague, and some of them will be highly detailed, and we're going to do our best to cover that info and get it to you guys and gals out there. And it's an exciting time. The marketing, the wheel is starting to turn. It's slowly getting there. Tommy sees the Timbit, and he's on the wheel going for it, those Canadian Timbits, and he's going to get there eventually. Any thoughts, guys, or maybe outside predictions on CinemaCon? To me, all signs point towards trailer tomorrow. Again, to the people in attendance.
Oh yeah, there's going to be a trailer. It's not going to be your full length trailer. That's for darn sure. But you're going to get, CinemaCon trailers. Usually, you get about a minute. Maybe a bit more. But you're not going to get a whole heck of a lot of anything out of it. It's going to be. Typically, CinemaCon trailers are much ado about nothing. Yep. They just sort of show you things you already know, things you're already, it doesn't really show you anything. We'll maybe see Michael, walking, down a street or something. We're not going to see anything that makes us go, oh, because that's just a ridiculous expectation. And I'm sure some people are expecting, a full 2 minutes, spoil all the plot type trailers that Hollywood has become accustomed to over the last 10 years, but that's not what CinemaCon is. It's a wet your whistle. It's a convention for people in the business, for the most part, and they have their panels and make it public and do all those sorts of things. I mean, it's a Vegas convention, because it isn't Vegas. It's been confirmed both in the chat and externally. It's at Caesar's Palace, so I mean, it's not We're not going to see anything groundbreaking and earth-shattering. That's just not going to happen. I mean, yeah. The finish of WrestleMania 9 would be more exciting than anything they're going to show at Caesar's Palace this weekend.
Joel says, thankfully, the advice your channel gave me about keeping expectations in check helped me enjoy kills.
Good. I wish we'd have taken our own advice.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing. It reads better than it plays. It reads a lot better than it plays. And that happens with movies. And sometimes they play better than they read. Dean says, as long as
Sean hates Halloween Kills.
What?
Sean hates Halloween Kills.
Who said
Are
I hate
you
Halloween
a true
Kills?
Halloween fan?
I don't hate Halloween Kills.
Are you a true Halloween fan?
Probably not.
You have to love everything.
Oh, well, then definitely not. I wouldn't even be a true Star Wars fan then. So, I mean, the fact
We
that
knew that. We knew we weren't true Star Wars fans.
Oh, our boy Anthony, longtime viewer, says, "I honestly hated Kills. I hate that for you, man. I understand where some of the backlash for Kills is. My view on Kills all this time later now, and Tommy, think about this. It's been like 6 months since you've been here. That's nuts. That's crazy. That's scary.
What? No. What?
Yeah, that's scary.
What? No.
Time really does blur together, especially with how we've all been living over the last couple of years. After all this time, I've only seen Kills. I need to see it again. I've actually been wanting to sit down and watch it again. I think I've seen Kills 4 times. I've read it about 72 times, but I've seen it 4 times. And I think it's a high quality Halloween movie in terms of how it was made. It's modern. It looks great. It sounds great. Michael Myers in it is amazing. Possibly the best he's ever been. But boy, the story and some of the cringe in it miss a bit. That said, I still think it's one of the better Halloween movies. And by better, I mean top half, not like top 2 or 3. Top half. What else we got in the chat? Anything interesting? You guys see anything? Let me know. Kenny's a long-time listener. He's been here since Wastelands first started way back in 2015. CinemaCon, you rarely see trailers posted online of the footage officially. If it ever... Oh, wow, I fucked that one up. Johnny said...
No, it's just weird phrasing.
Is it him? Okay.
You rarely see trailers posted online of the footage officially, if ever at all, is the gist of what he's saying. But it's phrased in an awkward YouTube comment kind of way.
Orlando Reyes says, I hope they give good information about Halloween Ends, if that is your real name. Yeah, you'll get a full description. Anything that they show on that screen tomorrow, you are going to know. And is there a chance they show nothing? I suppose. But you need to remember that even though Halloween's not Fast and the Furious, which by the way is on a production shutdown because of Justin Lin leaving the movie.
Shucks.
It's still one of Universal's biggest releases this year. If you don't think they want to show that off a bit, you're nuts. Again, there's a world where they don't show anything tomorrow, but our bet is, and everything we've heard, and I'm willing to throw it out there, is we will see. Well, they will see something. We will hear about it.
I mean, the odds that they'd specifically mention Halloween in, press releases about their, CinemaCon events itself, there's going to be something. I mean, is there a chance they don't show footage? I mean, yes, I suppose so. But if there's not footage, there will still be a lot of things to discuss, from things they divulge about, whatever it is they choose to divulge. But there will be stuff to dissect and overthink and overanalyze.
For sure. What do you mean he went to Dunkin' Donuts and not Starbucks? This is bullshit. Toronto Freddy says your Michael in that photo is flipped. It's purely an editing thing. I had to flip it to make the border work. So, or else I'd have to do everything the opposite way. So, you're right. It is flipped though. Looks damn good.
It just looks nicer flipped.
So, went with the flip, the flippy dippy, the dippy flippy flippy dippy. I wouldn't also like in terms of what they show. I've literally the only thing I've heard is expect a Haddonfield focus. And this was a while ago. So whether that still sticks, who knows? But it would make sense. You know, you had your focus. Michael Myers was front and center for everything Halloween Kills. Don't be surprised if he's not necessarily front and center in every frame of the trailer. Because to our understanding, he's not front and center in every frame of the movie. It's definitely the information that is available that's out there, it sounds like it's a very different movie. So keep expectations in check, and I think you'll be okay.
I mean, that's the same thing to say for anything you're going to see, no matter what it is.
I agree. Matt Whitfield, I'd love to be in Vegas, dude. CinemaCon tomorrow night. NFL Draft Thursday. Man, I don't know what would happen to you, dude. I don't know if you'd survive. The jury is undecided on that one.
You'd fall asleep before the 10th pick.
Orlando Reyes. I wonder if Allison might turn to Michael Myers. Turn to Michael Myers? I'm not sure. Like turn into Michael Myers sort of thing?
No. This is an H6 thing, I think.
I'm not sure, if I'm being honest. Apologies for the cat you hear at the door. Yes, she is annoying. Dean Ryder says, no one here is a true fan.
How dare you?
Me too, man. I like the script more as well. How about you, Tommy? Where did you fall? Were you pro script or pro movie?
I mean, the script is what kept us going for so long, right? But I think that the movie did a lot of things better than can be done with just, paper and pen. I think it really, I think the film really did a good job with some things. It's hard to contend that for me. You go to one for one reason, the other the other. Things flow better with a script, right? Because the content.
Yeah. I mean, it's like reading a book, right? I mean, well, it's not quite that, but like, if you compare reading a book to, say, watching anything, really, there's usuly way more information and context in a novel than a movie, and it's usually more enjoyable for that reason. I don't know if Johnny's on the same page with that. I think he's a pretty pro book guy.
Oh, I'm absolutely a pro book guy. Yeah, there's always so much more depth in the books than there is in the in film, because an extra page of a book is 5 cents. Extra 5 minutes of a movie is thousands and thousands of dollars. So, it's very easy, and you can write a 500, 600, 700 page epic novel, and that's still only going to be a 2-hour movie. So you're going to lose a lot somewhere, and I'm a Harry Potter fan, and there's so much of that's left in the books that I just shake my head at, that would make the movies just 1,000 times better, that just gets left in the books so that we can sit there and scream, but why? As I have done many times.
Toronto Freddy will be hearing Evil Dies Tonight over and over again.
No!
Valid answer. Very valid answer. Here's what we're going to do. For some reason, there is only, how many likes on this video? 30? 30? 60 people in here? Or now there's 50. Let's have everybody click that like button, and we'll get to this discussion that was supposed to be a pre-produced video, and I'm feeling generous tonight. We'll do it right now on air. Talk about a couple of the scenes in the movie. Smash that like button, people. Or else Tommy's going to go nuts. And you don't want to make Tommy nuts.
Or don't smash it. You'll break a keyboard or a mouse. Or if you're watching it on a mobile device, that mobile device. Don't smash the like button. Gently caress the like button.
Oh, well, that's very erotic.
You don't gently caress the like button?
I mean, it's something. It's something. It will not let me in. What is going on here? Sorry, we're having some technical difficulties. One moment with us. There we go.
I feel like that should be a Bo Burnham song. Something about technical difficulties. That'd be a good one. That would be our anthem.
Good old Bo.
Yeah, that would be our anthem about technical difficulties.
Bo Burnham. Jay Ryan with $1.99 super chat. You the best. Thanks, man. Phantom Empire just received my Before the Batman novel today. Really excited to read. It sounds so good, man. It sounds really in depth. Honestly, I completely forgot that thing even existed, and definitely got to find a way to get my hands on it for sure. Hit the like button or Halloween won't end. 4950 likes. All right. Let's stray into this topic. Some Halloween scene details. This is spoilery. So we're getting into some spoilers. If you don't like spoilers, now's the time to disappear for about 5 minutes. So there are two scenes that were reported to be in the movie, and I know one definitely got filmed. The other one, I can't say we've heard anything on officially, but there's a scene. We've been talking about Glass Hill a lot on the channel. We did a Glass Hill video. We said Glass Hill was going to be very important to the movie. It's a big part of the B plot of the movie. Oh, by the way, I just wanted to touch on this because I've been asked a few times. The whole Nick Castle and everybody else playing up the end is going to shock you stuff. I wouldn't read as much into that as a lot of people are.
Yeah, because they wouldn't just say things like that to drive up interest so more people go to the movie or anything.
Couldn't imagine. Couldn't imagine. I'm not saying the ending isn't going to be shocking. We on Lambkin Lane discussed an ending that we heard. We don't know if it's official or not. We think there's a chance it might be. So, and I don't know if I'd call it shocking. Different. But yeah. Anyways, one of the scenes in the movie takes place right outside of Glass Hill. And a patient escapes. I believe it's a little boy. Could be a little girl, but I think it's a little boy. And the little boy has his own issues. And the nurse goes running for him. And instead of the nurse finding the patient, the nurse finds Michael Myers. Now, when we were first told about this scene, we were told that the scene plays out like that. Michael kills the nurse. And as Michael's killing the nurse sees what Karen's seen at the end of Halloween Kills, and that's young Michael just randomly there for some reason. Since that point, though, we were told that perhaps it's not young Michael that's staring, and rather this boy who escaped the facility, or this girl who escaped the facility. And the way it's painted, you know, at least the description I was given, almost seems like they're setting up a possible, could this person be the next Michael sort of thing. The other thing that has come to light recently is this may in fact be the first time we see Michael in the film, and it may not take place in the year 2022. So the film does, but this specific scene might not. So that information still trying to get confirmed. But it sounds like that it is not a young Michael Myers that appears in the scene with this nurse who dies, but rather the child who escaped from Glass Hill. So I don't know which way I prefer. I kind of like the idea of the nurse randomly seeing young Michael because she wouldn't really know what it means, and it would add more to what we've seen at the end of Halloween Kills. What are you guys' thoughts on this?
I mean, it's a tight rope to walk, I guess. Because I mean, I guess it just depends on how the story goes. You know, if you are dipping more into, I guess, the supernatural of what makes Michael Michael, while, you know, dealing with all of those elements, then I guess the idea of, you know, her seeing young Michael makes sense. But at the same time, it also doesn't. I mean, it's just all going to come down to the execution, I guess, whether or not, you know, I'm okay with it or not. Because, you know, in theory, it sounds like as a solo scene, it sounds weird. But then I still think the ending where Karen saw him was weird too. But that's just because there's nothing more. You know, we don't understand the why, the how, or all of those questions about that yet. And if they answer those in the next movie and delve into that, and, you know, we get to see someone else experiencing it, then I'm perfectly okay with it.
Should also throw this one out there. Again, this is not a confirmation, but we've ran this before, and the last thing I heard about it is that it sounds like it may have happened, and that is if you're a pro wrestling fan, there is a very popular current AEW superstar who has some hands in movies and TV series, and it sounds like he may in fact appear in this movie after all. So we'll have to wait and see. There was definitely time for him to have done it. The question is, what would the role be? My guess is it's not significant, but I still think after seeing I don't remember what the name of it was, the horror movie that he did last year, I thought he was quite good in it. So obviously I'm referring to CM Punk. Whether he's in it or not, that's not really the point. The other scene we heard about is a lot of people are saying that Michael Myers, and this isn't like a Fandom Empire exclusive. This is one of the scenes that has leaked out onto the internet. And that is a kill at the radio tower. Everybody's talking about the radio tower. I'm not saying that this is its only purpose, but everyone said, not everyone, but there's a lot of people saying that a radio DJ gets killed at the radio tower by Michael Myers, and then the kill is caught like live on air, and that's how everybody knows Michael's back. And this report that's out there says Laurie goes catatonic. I have checked up, down, left, right, sideways, backwards, in time, whatever you want to call it, and I can't find one single person that will tell me that Laurie goes catatonic and Halloween Ends. I don't believe that happens at all. And also, we don't believe it's the radio DJ that gets killed. It's rather the radio tower owner or radio station owner that gets killed in that scene. So yeah, they're the two scenes that are out there. They're not, you know, they haven't spread like wildfire, but they're out there in other areas. And I mean, there's other information that's out there for sure, and other scenes that are out there, but I just wanted to take some time and clarify some details that I don't think necessarily were corrected. And I think we've set that straight. Again, I'm of the opinion I would have liked to see the kid Michael stay, but that's just me. Tommy, how about you, man? Where are you with that? You okay with them using just a random patient from Glass Hill, or would you have rathered Kid Michael?
They can use they can use a random patient, you know? Kid Michael, it would appeal to folks, but the last time we saw that was Rob Zombie, and we know a lot of folks just it's not generally received well. Some love it, some hate it. I think more hate it. I'd be up for some random patient. They've done it before.
Oh, I like this one. Our boy Toronto Freddy, David Gordon Green, 2018. We're not going to make him supernatural. He's just a human being. Laurie Strode, 2021. The more he kills, the more he transcends. I'll go one further. David Gordon Green after Halloween Kills had released. Yeah, no, he's just a dude. There's nothing supernatural about him. Like, come on. Like, really? Really? Anyway. I see our private chat has Tommy B tech issue talk going on in there.
Very active in there this evening.
Are we going to be getting a teaser tomorrow? No.
Unless you're in attendance at CinemaCon.
There is no reason to believe that any footage will go public, and if it is, it's probably horrific quality. The people at CinemaCon are currently slated to get a Halloween Ends trailer, from what we understand, tomorrow, and we'll get the description of it as will everybody else, and we'll talk about that description and fantasize about it for 2 months until the actual or a month and a half until the actual trailer drops. So Diane says, I think it'd be cool if the Halloween Ends trailer music was a mashup of Halloween theme and Don't Fear the Reaper. I would dig that. I like that idea a lot, actually. I'm sold.
I'm having flashbacks to the Supernatural episode in season 1, where we were first introduced to the Reapers and chasing people around to Don't Fear the Reaper. I'm picturing Michael in the spot of that particular.
Next Gen Studios, would you like an ending where Michael seemingly dies and we see another kid in another neighborhood seeing a silhouette outside of his window? We don't know if someone's actually there or not. I don't want to see Michael die. There's obviously a reasonably decent chance it's going to happen. But I wouldn't want to see him die. And also, I want to throw this out there. I know this is David Gordon Green's last movie, but David Gordon Green has no power to stop Blumhouse and Universal from continuing these movies if they want. I would not expect a movie to come out in 2023, but you might not be waiting until 2028 for another Halloween movie. It might be a lot sooner, and it might still be this timeline. We don't know. But there are some people out there that have stated that David Gordon Green has some power over this, when in fact he does not at all. That's not how it works.
Did he secretly acquire the rights to the characters?
Right? Money. Obviously, they don't want to run it into the ground either. It's got to be a story worth telling. And there's nothing wrong with going to another timeline if they do so. Could Michael Myers, instead of being supernatural, be more like Wolverine in terms of healing? Hence, he can take all the beatings. I would say no to that just because his eye never heals.
To that, I say tomato.
Shade O'Mac, I have a theory that Michael never killed Judith and that she killed herself. And being in Smith's Gross turned him into the killer. That would retcon Carpenter footage, and he's probably never ever going to allow that. However, that'd be a twist.
I mean, did we ever actually see Michael actual stabby? Like, I know we saw him with the knife, but I don't ever remember actually seeing the act.
The only time we ever see Michael is after he comes out of the house
when he's holding the knife.
Yeah, everything is POV.
He's covered in blood.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess. Maybe, but that would require a massive, huge retcon of the canon in such a way that just... I think it would... we talk about moments the entire fan base is just like, nope, I'm done. I think that would be one of them.
Lee Bowers, is there going to be more flashbacks and ends?
Maybe,
At one
possibly.
point, there were supposed to be. I don't know how far back they're going. Again, the last thing I heard on that scene outside Glass Hill is it may not take place in the current timeline. Or not current timeline, but the current year. So
I'm going to stick with maybe, possibly.
that sounds like a surefire way to answer that. When do you think we'll be getting a teaser? I think that it'll be attached to Black Phone. That seems like the safest guess. That's a movie that Blumhouse really wants to push, and that gets you a trailer out sometime in the middle to late June. So it adds up. It really does line up with what they've done before. So if and when they do another one, I hope they find better fucking writers.
I wouldn't count on it.
Oh man. Judith yells Michael. Yeah, so that kind of kills that theory. DJ says, my theory for Halloween Ends is that Michael chases Laurie up the radio tower and Laurie sacrifices herself by tackling him off it, ultimately killing the two. You know what it should do, though, is Michael should do I guess it's the Michael sit-up since he did it way before The Undertaker did. But The Undertaker made famous sit-up and, just have the movie end at him sitting up. And, you imagine how pissed people would be. Cool, but pissed. Especially if that's the last one we're doing.
Yeah, that... no. I would not be happy with that. I mean, if that were to happen, but it's not the ending, then okay. If it's the... basically the false ending that a lot of movies tend to have.
Jay Ryan, I would love it if the entire movie is I would love it if the entire movie is classic music like 78 with a tiny spin. Also, would like it if the town is desolate due to 18 and Michael's chased instead of Michael chasing the town. Well, the town is definitely desolate.
Saying classic music when referring to 1978 just makes me feel old.
I've been waiting for Mr. Sandman to pop up in this trilogy at some point, and it hasn't happened yet. And I firmly have to believe that it's coming at some point to Halloween Ends. I'm sticking to it. Bring back Mr. Sandman. Spirit Seeker says, I'm really excited to see how Allison fits into the story of Halloween Ends, and I wonder how much screen time she gets. In my opinion, in terms of the information that is out there and that we've reported on anyways, I think Halloween Ends is more of Allison's story than it is Laurie's story. That is firmly how I feel and how what I believe. And I think that's the way it should be. It should be her story at this point. And Hawkins definitely has a bit to say too. So our boy Jerry's in the house. Gotta love Jerry. Who doesn't love Jerry? Jerry. Probably won't happen, but do you think Michael played a role in Loomis's death in this timeline? I mean, I want to see Loomis go out like a badass. I can't see it happening. I know there's a fake script out there that has a Loomis Jr. in it. They would never name the character Loomis Jr., although it could be a holding place, I suppose, because they did have holding titles in there for the Halloween Kill script. So, but I can't see that happening. I think what we got in Kills is probably as much Loomis as you're going to see. But I would expect him to definitely be, at the very least, brought up like he was in 2018. I mean, we heard him in 2018, so I still expect something akin to that. Sorry, my chat's freezing on me here.
I was gonna say, mine just went all the way back to the beginning.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. That is weird. Matt says, I'm worried Michael will be demystified. His motives and reasons should never be made known. It does sound like they may get into a bit of that. I hope that they, they're very careful with that stuff because it should be handled with care.
It's definitely a pretty pickle that they've gotten themselves into. They've painted themselves into a corner where they have to kind of have to, give some explanations to, Michael's motives and and actions, so we kind of have to get something. I just don't know how much or what.
It's a hot button issue because some folks want to see nothing and some want everything.
Indeed. If you guys want to bring it back to Halloween Ends at any point this evening, feel free to send in a super chat and we'll backtrack. If we have a chance to answer some questions, we will. But for the next 20 minutes or so, we're going to talk wrestling. So we're going to get Tommy B out of here because he doesn't give a shit about wrestling. Tommy, thanks for doing this, man. And I guess we'll be seeing a lot of you lately. We have Halloween End stuff on the horizon and lots of Star Wars stuff coming.
As long as this connection don't die, like it just.
You almost made it.
Fuck.
You almost made it. Again, everyone, to our knowledge, Halloween Ends footage is supposed to debut tomorrow. I'm not saying it's, a guarantee, but every indication that we've been given for like 2 months now is that it will. So be on the lookout for that. Again, we won't get it. You'll get a description of it. And we'll be here to cover all the juicy details. Speaking of juicy details, it's Jared. What's going on, man?
Hello. It's such a fitting way for Tommy to leave by his internet just cutting out and he just disappears.
He's just gone. Oof.
Just every week, his internet drops and then I show up.
All right, so time sensitive here. We only got like 20, 25 minutes. And if the chat brings us back to Halloween, we will have to go back to Halloween at some point if anyone sends in a super chat. But if not, then we're good to go with wrestling, and we'll see if we can answer some questions towards the end.
I'm cool talking Halloween Havoc. It was a great pay-per-view back in the 90s.
I used to love
one. Because, if we're talking 92, that was god-awful.
91 wasn't great either.
Didn't Brett beat Sting at a Halloween Havoc?
98. That was the baseball bat to the face, I believe.
That was the most pay-per-view in history because that was Goldberg, Page, and
that had the
Hogan Warrior 2.
Oh Jesus! The less said about that, the better.
So keeping in mind we're under time constraints because I know you two can end up going off on wrestling things for a bit. I have a take for you, and I honestly want you guys. I think it might piss some wrestling fans off. I don't know if the average wrestling fan gives a shit about AEW versus New Japan Wrestling. I have some care for it now because obviously I've been invested in AEW for a couple of years. Obviously, I've heard of New Japan long ago. I've been friends with Johnny for way too long and have heard it a bunch. But I'm talking like just your average Joe wrestling fan. Not sure they give a shit about AEW versus New Japan Wrestling pay-per-view necessarily. I don't know if this thing's obviously it's gonna do great numbers overseas. I'm really curious to see what the local numbers would be because I'm not sure it pushes it all that much more. But
I think 10 years ago you'd have been right.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the proliferation of like Shinsuke Nakamura and the Bullet Club, becoming such. Bullet Club got into Hot Topic. Outside of New Japan, they were that popular in the zeitgeist that I think there's not really much concern for that now. 10 years ago, you're absolutely right. This would be to me, it would be no different than, this is a deep cut, but Starrcade 96. Or was it 95?
95.
95. Where they did the WCW versus New Japan pay-per-view. It's basically the same thing. Only I'd argue that, Starrcade is a much bigger event because that was the WCW WrestleMania. So, this will do much better than that because at this point, people know New Japan intimately well because so many of their guys have gone on to bigger and better things, and the wrestling world isn't quite so segregated now where it's actively talked about. The WWE was discussing, AJ Styles and Shinsuke while they were still headlining the Tokyo Dome that month. So I don't think it's as big a concern as 10 years ago.
Let me jump in here and answer this question quickly. Jay Ryan sends in a $2 super chat. Will Lindsay have a key role? What can you tell us? Read into this what you will. Lindsay was not supposed to be in Halloween Ends. They literally put her in it because of Kyle Richards' audience reception from Halloween Kills, which was very positive, and they went back and wrote her into the script. So take that for what you will. The reason why I have this take is this. If you had to ask me right now, what am I more excited for, Double or Nothing or Forbidden Door? Like, to me, it's not even close. I don't even know the card for Double or Nothing, but I'm way more excited to see AEW storylines continue to go, and because I'm assuming Forbidden Door is going to be all AEW guy versus New Japan. Yeah. So, so does that mean we're seeing Punk versus other GTS guy whose name I don't know for the AEW title? Is that what's going to happen since Double or Nothing happens first?
I mean, obviously, you're not going to see any title matches because that would be.
No, they won't do title matches.
I don't think so. I mean, they might if it's like you might see like a never open weight championship or something, a lower tier title where if AEW guy goes over for the never open weight title, it's not quite such a big deal. I don't think any AEW titles will be on the line. There might be. I mean, I guess there are exceptions to that rule. If it's like American talent that are going in the match, like hypothetically, you could see like Gorillas of Destiny versus whoever comes out of Double or Nothing for the AEW Tag Championships, and that would make sense. But title matches in cards like this never work because the result is never in question.
Yeah, I think, and to Johnny's point, a more contemporary point of New Japan appealing to the common wrestling fan is, I think this mythical common wrestling fan doesn't really exist right now. AEW is a niche product that caters to a specific type of fan, and I think that type of fan, for the most part, is a New Japan fan, or at least is aware of it on the peripheral. New Japan and Ring of Honor sold out Madison Square Garden, 5 years ago, I believe it was, something like that.
It was like the same year as All Out,
2019, something like that.
They're all in.
No, the Supercard of Honor.
Yeah, that was the following year. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
2019.
So
it's 2019.
So I think there is awareness there, and it sucks because New Japan is kind of on a downswing. They were a hot product for 7-8 years, and then AEW formed, and they kind of lost a lot of their core roster to AEW guys like Kenny Omega, Young Bucks, like all these guys that were New Japan guys defected essentially, and New Japan was kind of left hanging. So they've had to kind of retool their entire roster with guys like Jay White and Naito being
had to focus
a consistent main eventer.
Exclusively inwards, through
exactly,
pandemic,
right?
Not being able to have gaijin talent was a huge crusher to them, considering the company has lately been built around one top foreign star against Okada, and it's kind of hard to do the top foreign star angle when the top foreign star can't get in the country.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Will Ospreay,
it killed his title run.
Unfortunately, yeah.
So let me ask you guys a few questions then. Some of it relate to that, some of it relates to Double or Nothing, and I got a few of them. So let's try to be somewhat quick with the answers. I don't know the guy's name. Is it Penta? Is that the guy everybody? No,
Kenta.
it's not Penta.
Which guy are you talking about?
Kenta? I don't know. The guy everybody wants to see Punk fight.
Yeah,
Kenta, yeah.
Okay.
He was known as Hideo Itami in WWE.
We don't
that
talk
match
about that.
has got to happen, right? Like does it not?
I wouldn't be surprised to see it because I think Kenta's a guy that you can beat as far as the New Japan hierarchy goes. So it's not a slight for Punk to go in there and have a competitive match with him and beat him. And New Japan's not going to, put up a fuss about it. So it's a perfect match you can book. And they both have a lead in with the fact that Punk essentially stole the finish. So why not do it? It's an easy booking decision. It saves putting Punk against a main event guy where you might not be able to put Punk over, and then politics come into it, and you know.
I mean, I think politics are going to be all through this card. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't end up like 5-5 or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, however many matches they have on the card, or or AEW wins by 1 or something like that. But the only reason I don't so much have a problem with Kenta as Punk's opponent, but I think working off the assumption that seems to be kind of likely, that Adam Page's title run is sort of faltering.
I think he's done in May. It seems
it's not working quite the way they wanted it to. Like I said this on this show a month ago, 2 months ago. Adam Page is Ricky Steamboat. The chase is great, but once you get there, what comes next? And that's kind of the pickle they're in now, is what comes next. They're just throwing random guys at him, and and now here you're throwing CM Punk at him, and it's probably the time to make that change. And I don't know if Kenta's a high enough profile guy in the New Japan hierarchy to get the match with the presumptive current AEW champion.
Is there a name that, like, without getting too in depth here, is there a name that some of the general public would know if they're like, hey, it's CM? Like, what's the headline here? What's the what's going to be the headline that really makes people? I mean, obviously people are going to buy it's AEW versus New Japan, especially the people that are really invested in either product or pro wrestling in general. But like, do they have something that can go, hey, this match is happening?
Right now, no, because the only match that the entire wrestling world would stop and go, holy crap, it's happening, is Okada Omega in the US.
Can that happen? Can Kenny be ready for that? That was my next question.
We don't know. Like, that's the thing. We don't honestly know. So, if he's back in time to get the Omega match, then sure, that's a great match. But
but then he'll need another 8 months off.
Probably. But like, this does not, I love New Japan, but this is going to be a lot of traditional New Japan guys. Like, you're going to see a lot of the foreigners on this card. There's going to be a heavy dose of Bullet Club. There's going to be a heavy dose of the United Empire. There's going to be lots of those guys, and you're going to have, a handful of New Japan guys sprinkled throughout the card. Like, you're going to have an Okada match. You're going to have Tanahashi on the card. Quite frankly, if you give me Takahashi versus Okada, that would make no sense. If you give me Takahashi and like Sammy Guevara, I'm here for that.
Yeah.
So it's tough. Like, New Japan right now doesn't have enough of the crossover stars. All of them kind of went elsewhere. They dispersed. They left to WWE. They left to AEW. They left. They just left. So I don't know. I mean, maybe they'll pull Muda out of the mothballs. Who knows?
No, Muda's with Noah. Let him stay there.
Well,
He's content not putting over their younger generation, and then when he has to lose the title, he mysteriously gets a hip injury and suddenly has to give up the titles because he's a fucking piece of shit.
Well, at least it's a hip injury and he didn't lose his
Shawn
smile.
Michaels? Oh,
Yeah, pretty much. Exact same thing. Also, 97 Heart Foundation was phenomenal, and they really should have had more than a year on top.
Yep. Totally agree. So let's dive into that. It's a good segue. This Brett WWE thing true? Because there seems to be...
At this point, I have no idea.
Like, it seemed like it was a locked deal, and then it seems like a couple people come out and said, well,
I mean, the big one was Monday, I think, that Meltzer came out with the report that, he had asked Brett if he was going to appear for the Owen Hart Memorial, presumably, to present the trophy to the winner or whatever. And Brett's response was, I don't know. I haven't been asked.
Which makes sense. I mean, I think it's nothing more than Brett's on a Legends deal, and I think WWE within that realm can kind of be picky about him doing certain things. Like, he can do big time wrestling or whatever. That's not a big deal. That's in front of 1,000 people. But I think they can say, hey, we're paying you all this money. Please don't go and appear on our
Well, I mean, if
number
it's-
one rival.
If it's a standard Legends contract, then I think they have, like, they've typically had the no TV clause.
Yeah.
You can do events, but you can't do TV. And then there was that period where they couldn't do like iPay-per-views, or they couldn't do, things like that. And they've loosened up on some of those restrictions, but other ones they haven't. And I don't honestly know. I mean, to a certain degree, I can see, Vince seeing all this interest around Brett and, throwing a big contract off him as basically almost a make good for, 97. I offered you $20 million once to be my guy for 10 years. Well, here's 10 million to sit at home for the rest of your life. Like, don't go on TV for anybody else, but sit at home, have fun, do indies, do comics, do, appearances, but no TV but my TV.
It would be hard to fault Brett for that, considering everything that he has gone through. That said, it really and still feels like this FTR Punk thing is going.
Personally, I don't like it. I don't want it to happen. It just, FTR is not a babyface team.
Yes, they are.
They aren't.
They are. They are phenomenal.
Not.
Did you watch that Young Bucks match? You are wrong. Admit you are wrong. They are tremendous baby faces. Go watch the match.
I'm not saying they can't be. I'm saying they shouldn't be. Like, I get, the Young Bucks match, they had to be the baby faces because the Bucks are still, twisting on the vine, waiting for the inevitable turn. But there's just this FTR they're Tully and Arn. They are that team. They are those guys. They are those workhorses that you can throw out there with any two guys you want, and they're going to get a great match out of them because they can. And they just, I don't know, FTR babyfaces I don't like. So unless you're going and turning Punk heel, which does not make sense to me right now.
I'm glad you brought that up because I think that's a good topic to finish on. We'll blend it all into one here. Punk versus Page seems like it's a guarantee to be the main event at Double
after
or
last week.
Yeah. Why can't Punk go heel against Page? I mean, Page does have a lot of crowd backing behind him.
He could. I mean, it would make sense where they do.
He's almost getting like obsessive again.
Something, where they respect each other up until the match, and then for the finish, Punk kicks him low or something like that, where Punk is, this new heel champion, and they can build around that. And I think it's a problem with just modern wrestling. You can't do a babyface champion. It's not that Adam Page is failing as a champion. He's a perfectly fine babyface champion. But in modern wrestling, you can't do long babyface runs because the heels just aren't as over consistently every single time.
The parables are perfect for me. Like, I think AEW is old school NWA. If you look at the history of the NWA, it was built upon the heel touring champion. He comes into your town and he wrestles your top babyface for an hour and squeaks out, with your babyface looking like $1 million, and Flair still keeps the belt. And occasionally you get that big chase. Hell, Ronnie Garvin had a big chase in 88?
87, and he won the belt.
And he won the belt. And then you had, Ricky Steamboat had that big one in 89. Dusty Rhodes did it a few times. Flair did it himself in 83 before turning heel and founding the Four Horsemen. Like, it's a territory built on the heel being on top with the babyface chase, and then, the heel coming back and taking down. Obviously, they don't have a Ric Flair, to keep coming back around to the title, but, there are other guys. And the only reason I have a hard time with Punk as a heel winning the belt here is that the next man up right now.
Hang on. Don't answer that. That was my follow up. Then the show. Don't.
Okay, then I'll
you're killing me.
Save that.
Do we all think Punk's going over Hangman at Double or Nothing?
I do.
I don't think so. I think it's the best example so far of Hangman's reign that we don't really know who's going over. Which, I mean, we knew, he's going to beat Lance Archer. He's more than likely going to beat Adam Cole. So,
I mean, I'd say Cole was the first one where we had that question.
Only because Tony Khan loves Adam Cole so much. That was the only reason I thought, okay, maybe they'll switch the belt. But, and another thing is AEW doesn't really do short title reigns. And Hangman will have only hit 6 months by Double or Nothing. And the shortest reign was what? Like 8.5 months for Jericho?
So, is this going to be something though where they're just like,
right?
I don't have the numbers in front of me, but like, do they want to get Punk a title reign here? Do they want?
I think Punk is due for a title reign. I just don't know when. But like Punk's kind of on borrowed time in a way, in the way that Danielson is, where they're top guys, but their best years physically are behind them. Mm-hmm. So they've had to alter their styles to keep up with the times, really. And I think they're both due for a title reign. It's just a matter of when you do it. And would it be considering sacrificing Hangman for that?
So you think Hangman goes over Punk then at Double or Nothing?
I think Hangman goes over Punk and then loses to the next challenger.
But then the question is, who's next?
What to do with Punk after that? Like, would be my question.
I think Punk could go on a losing streak.
I mean, if you want to turn him heel, I think that's the way to do it. Like if he starts losing as a babyface, then he reaches that breaking point of fine. I can't win anymore. Well, then I'm just going to do whatever I can to win, and
because I think there's more opportunities for both guys if that's the way it ends for them. Because let's say Punk turns heel and wins the title. Okay, what do you put him with? Jungle Boy? Like, I mean, I think the Blackpool Combat Club is too busy doing their own thing to challenge for singles titles right now.
I don't even know what the singles rankings are, if I'm being honest. So I have no idea. But I could see Punk going over at Double or Nothing, and then you have the, Forbidden Door.
Yeah.
And then you have the Chicago pay-per-view again. I guess 2 Chicago pay-per-views in a row.
That's so weird. I'm surprised they booked Chicago for the June show. 'Cause I get it. It's their market and whatnot, but man, they're like, that will have been what, 4 major shows in a span of 9 months.
I mean, I think the only thing that would sort of makes me shake my head at it is that it is 2 consecutive pay-per-views there. But I mean, they're doing Forbidden Door at the United Center, so I mean that's different. I mean, if they go back to the United Center for All Out, then I guess then there's a bit of a concern. But this is an anomaly, not the norm, because where else are they going to hold this where both AEW and New Japan have a crowd foothold?
Yeah, Hawkins has a key role with Zack Ryder in the major players in Impact Wrestling right now. So thank you, Jay.
Yeah, Hawkins has a significant role in Halloween Ends, and that character is on a journey based off of what we've seen in Halloween Kills, dating all the way back to 1978. So there's $1 million question in the night. If Punk goes over Hangman, I'm gonna be bummed if he doesn't, because if he doesn't go over and he has to go to the back of the line and doesn't get the Adam Cole, let's get 2 title shots anyway. See, I can see that. If he gets a second title shot, he loses the first match and then cheats to win the second match in order to heel turn. I'd be bummed. But if he does win at Double or Nothing, who is next up? Regardless, face or heel turn.
I mean,
next up for Punk, that is, to be clear, if Punk was the champ.
Like, do you take it because Punk is who he is? Do you take a chance on a new guy? Do you put Wardlow in that position? Do you put Darby in that position? I mean, their baby face is kind of slim pickings on guys who are. I mean, Eddie Kingston, they've got baby faces that they can put in the slot, but
that'd be your all main event, right?
Yeah, they're not like week in, week out main event guys. So do you hang it on Punk being over as much as he is to kind of carry, him and Darby in a main event slot to go sell out a 19,000 seat arena?
No.
You know what I mean? So it's hard because, I mean, you could do Kenny's return there, but Kenny's obviously going to be busy when he comes back with, the Undisputed Elite thing. So he's far away from the title scene, even when he comes back.
I honestly have no idea.
I think Jay already mentioned the guy that I think it is. I mean, sure, you could, put up MJF as the next man up, but I still think they're kind of slow rolling that one a bit more. Like, I don't know if it's, detrimental to the long term that, I think we might be reaching a point where Tony's actually starting to question, I don't want to say MJF's loyalty, but he's starting to question whether or not they'll be able to keep him. Because, he has a very strong relationship with Cody Rhodes. And that's a factor that a lot of people aren't thinking about here, is that relationship. And, it's not out of the question for him to move on to the WWE seems intent on throwing a Brinks truck at him.
Well, he's raised legit concerns that, hey, I've been a top guy in this company and my pay, my pay hasn't gone up yet. You've signed all these guys like Punk and Danielson and all these other guys that are making, 2-3 times as much as I am. And
he's still making nobody in the country knows who I am money. Exactly. Whereas he's, arguably probably the number 2 heel in the United States, period.
Yeah. He's the reason, that last pay-per-view did so well. No offense to Hangman and Cole, but that was not the draw for that pay-per-view, I don't think.
It was not, no. I mean, I think that, Tony has shown he likes the story. He likes the build. Mm-hmm. And I think that paints a very vivid picture that next man up is Eddie Kingston. And I am so here for that.
So
because that story is going to be so intense. The moment, Eddie inevitably winning the belt and having that moment in the ring, you put that in a New York market, and yes, wait, please.
You think Punk would drop the belt immediately after winning it?
Not immediately.
Not immediately, but
I thought you were saying next guy up would be Eddie. Sorry, when I say next guy up, I mean who Punk would main event all out with if he won.
No, I'm saying he drops the belt to Eddie probably at full year. I don't see a long-term reign for...
I will say this. I had to do some research to give an educated guess here. It's very clear by them getting Punk extra matches, Tony has no intention on moving off of the rankings matter thing. You need to be in that top 5 for title shots. And even though they got the trios thing going, I got to say, if you want big-time pay-per-view sell and Punk wins at help me out here, guys. What's the next one? Double or Nothing? There's a guy sitting at number 1 that would look pretty good on a card against Punk. I know they got their little trios thing going on, but God, Punk versus Moxley main event all out, that thing's going to sell like crazy.
Mm-hmm. And then we got Kazarian for the November pay-per-view.
I think I love Mox, but I don't think so. I mean, not because it wouldn't sell, because it would.
There, right? So,
but I mean, let's be honest. We're looking at rankings for April 20th.
Oh, for sure.
Pre-booking a match that's not until somewhere in the realm of August 28th to September 3rd.
Punk had
I don't think they've actually announced the date yet.
I think Punk had 4 matches in 5 weeks or something like that, or 4 matches in 6 weeks. So
yeah, I mean, there's lots of time to build somebody over the summer to get that spot in Chicago. So
Sammy's hair is ridiculous.
Sammy is ridiculous. I love him, but good lord,
he's just got a face that you want to punch.
I think that's an asset.
I mean, yeah, down that he's a heel, yeah.
They made a huge mistake turning him babyface. Like, that man just exudes.
Man, that was another weird thing. The Men of the Year doing a babyface promo, and they were just like knocking it out of the park. Like, what?
I mean, I said it once. I'll say it again. Dan Lambert is Bobby Heenan wearing Affliction shirts.
Yeah.
Maybe the answer here is Punk versus Hangman again at All Out.
I do not think that they are going to twice in 1 year have back-to-back title challenges like that.
I mean, the rankings can definitely change. You're right about that. I'm just going based off of what's here right now. And if you go off of the trio stuff that they seemingly have planned, I honestly don't know who you put against Punk. I almost feel like it might be easier to find people for him if he's a heel rather than a face, because then you got Darby and you got Wardlow and
Yeah, they've got this just below, like the upper mid card. It's just stocked with baby faces that you can kind of interchange in and out to work a heel champion. I mean, that's what worked with Jericho's reign so well. You had Jungle Boy and you had Darby and you had, I think Scorpio even worked him in a Dynamite. Like all these guys that you can just kind of slot into little title programs.
Okay, I've got it right now. And, he's not ranked right now, but give another
There
week
you
or two
go.
and he will be, okay? Currently undefeated in 2022 and his career. All Out main event, CM Punk versus Hook.
is it bad that I want Hook to lose to Danhausen? So
No, it is not. I would
all in on
I'd be here
Danhausen.
for
Like
this.
Dave and I are obsessed with Danhausen.
I mean, if that's only if the curse works. If it doesn't work, then Hook's gonna, send his limbs into the 3rd row, the 5th row, and the 15th row.
It is safe to bet that Hook will add some new teeth to Danhausen's collection. They will just be Danhausen's.
It's true.
But I don't think you wouldn't know about that, would you? Danhausen collects teeth. That's part of his gimmick.
I've seen
He has the jar.
teeth logo on some of his clothes.
Yeah, he has a tooth jar that's actually full of human teeth.
I
The
wonder
dude-
if they can get him to do the tequila dance.
The
I don't know if
dude
that
is
would be a
insanely entertaining.
copyright thing.
Oh, he really is, and he is the most.
His YouTube channel, it's so good.
I love how kayfabe he is too. Like Danhausen is Danhausen, and then he has his fake human persona, that he does for certain other things. I just love that so much.
Anyways, fellas, that is gonna do it for Fandom Empire Live tonight. Appreciate you guys coming out. Hell of an episode. CinemaCon tomorrow night. Halloween ends. Sounds like a trailer's coming. Can't guarantee it, but if I had to bet on it, bet a lot of money it's coming. Again, only for the people in attendance. We will have to live with just a mere description of said trailer. Johnny, where can everybody find you, man?
You can find me right now watching the Blue Jays try and walk it off in the bottom of the 9th.
Are they losing or tied?
It's tied.
What, they pull a hamstring or something?
It's tied. 5-5, bottom of the 9th, bows up. No, you can find me here, there, everywhere. Lots of places. No, Bo couldn't do it. We're going to extras.
Jay says, are you doing a video tomorrow? If I do, it probably would not be Halloween related in the morning. It'd probably be Star Wars related because we're waiting on 2 new clips from Obi-Wan Kenobi to drop, according to Making Star Wars. In terms of doing a show tomorrow night to talk about the description, it will depend what I think of the description. If I think it's just generic, nonsense, then probably not. But if I think there's some potential there, then we'll jump on and do something. Jared, where can we find you at, man?
You can find me on Twitter at Jamie Virtue, and I run a Facebook page for professional wrestling, Dark Match Drive. You can check us out there. Dozens of posts daily, lots of fun discussion. And it's connected to a Google Drive that I run with 5 terabytes of professional wrestling all over it. It is tremendous, and it takes up a lot of my time. And one day I will see my friends again.
Yeah, and it's Thursday.
Yes.
Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it. So much coming on the channel. Thank you for your support. Don't forget, hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe or something. Go to Mr. Sub for me. I'll take that. Wall takes a
I
Mr.
haven't
Sub.
been there in years.
Does that imply a Mr. Dom exists too?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
It depends what story.
That's next door to the one
okay.
over here.
Um,
If you knew our local geography, you'd understand that joke.
We'll see you next time. We'll let this guy play it.
Hi guys, this is Terrence, Fandom Empire, and you're watching Fandom Empire Live, which Sean didn't invite me to, so it's probably going to be a piece of shit!